So, you degenerates like a bit of madness, eh? Well, today we're going to do a Commander deck tech on Anje Falkenrath. Now, I was meant to do this video a while ago, but Throne of Eldraine spoilers kicked off and other topics, and this video just got pushed way back. But here it is. So, let's get into it. So, Anje is a 3-mana 1/3 new commander from Commander 2019. She's a vampire with haste and tap, discard a card, draw a card. That's called rummaging pretty much. Whenever you discard a card, if it had the word madness in it, so the actual mechanic madness, untap Anje. So our game plan is going to be, we just keep using Anje to discard a card from our hand that had madness, then we'll draw another card, and we hopefully draw another card with madness, and we just keep cycling through our deck. Every time we discard or draw, we're going to start hitting people with burn or direct damage or something like that. And that's the general win plan of this deck, just to rip through it and go for it. So the big cards for the game plan are Glinthorn Buccaneer, which a 3-mana 2/4 Manitoba. Whenever we discard a card, each opponent takes 1 damage. If we go through most of the deck, that should get us there. Plus he has discard built in. Psychosis Crawler, every time we draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life, same concept there. Or the brand new Bone Miser. Whenever we discard a card, so if it's a creature, we get a 2/2 zombie. If we discard a land, we get 2 black mana. If we discard a non-creature, we draw a card. This is just an absolute fuel engine for us. So onto the actual madness cards. Now I've kind of grouped them up first. You'll see the vampires together because there is a bit of a tribal theme here as well, because vampires do relate to madness. So all of these cards, we can either cast them as we need to use their normal effects or creature abilities, or we just ditch them with our commander just to keep drawing through our deck. So the Asylum offers us more draw if we have no hand. The Oculist here lets us exile top card of our library, play with it like that typical red draw. The Bloodhole Priest is a bit of burn, but it can be part of a big combo later on we'll cover at the end of the video. The Pariah here lets us sacrifice 3 creatures to transform into a big 6/5 vampire horror. But if we do, our opponent has to sacrifice 3 creatures. The Ravager here, Ange's new little beatdown creature, has to attack each turn, but if it does, we can discard a hand and draw 3 cards. That's a lot of gas back. And then we've got more of our sorceries like From Under the Floorboards and Giss's Bidding, which bring us zombie tokens. I do like From Under the Floorboards, because with this madness cost, it kind of scales up and down. We even got things like Gibbering Descent, which is a fun enchantment, which punishes everyone for having cards in hand, but hopefully we won't have any because we've just been ripping through it. It's cool that it's a card with Hellbent and Madness, 2 mechanics brought together. Call to the Netherworld is a nice cheapie or a freebie if we need it. Does return a creature back to our hand. Psychotic Episode's a bit more discard where we need it. And we've got plenty of direct removal. Like Violent Eruption lets us splash a bit of damage where we need to. Nightblade Assassins remove a belt on a creature. Dark Wither just destroy a non-black creature. For Madness 1, that's pretty good. Abys's Judgment, again, it's a madness spell that does burn, but it scales up and down when you use the madness part of it. Or you just get simple Murderous Compulsion, just destroy a tapped creature. Even the good old Fiery Temper, Biting Rain is kind of a little board wipe for us. Big Game Hunter finally gotten down in price because of this reprint. And Gorgon Recluse, which kills a creature after combat, so it's not Death Touch, but it's nearly there. Or even the Archfiend of Spite. There's a big 7-mana 6/6, but for madness of 5 makes it really efficient. If an opponent deals damage to it, they lose that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. So it punishes them for trying to deal with it. And Grave Scribbler, which is just a better Grave Digger in this deck, really. And remember, all these cards with madness, you're not just ditching them for nothing. If Anje sees them discarded, she untaps, and because we're discarding, we can pay the madness cost and play them still. So we're getting a lot of utility out of 1 creature here. So the actual vampire tribe in the deck, we've got 1 key creature here, which is very important. Falkenrath Gorger. He says each vampire creature you own that isn't on the battlefield has madness, and that madness cost is equal to its mana cost. He alone makes our madness theme a lot more efficient in this deck. He makes all our creatures pretty much in the deck have madness as well. So every time we discard any creature, long as he's on the battlefield, it has madness, and Angelina gets to untap. So he's a big key one of the first ones of 2 to 4. But we've got things like the new Olivia, which whenever a creature in the battlefield under our control, we can discard a card, so that can play with our madness theme. And if you do, you put a counter on that creature, it gains haste. So she can make things vampires and give them haste and play with the madness theme well. The Condemned can discard cards to buff all vampires, again plays well with our discard theme. I put the Ruined Sage in here for a bit of fun because at the beginning of our upkeep, each player has to sacrifice a non-vampire creature. For the most time, we should be pretty good, but it should affect everyone. Good old Bloodline Keeper, pushing out tokens and a big Lord effect when he flips. Stormkirk Captain here, just giving all the vampires 1/1 and first strike, just helped us in combat for a bit of beatdown if we want to go that way. Captivating Vampire, again, just a Lord effect, but we can also steal things, which can be pretty spicy. And the good old Sanctum Seeker, just whenever a vampire attacks, each opponent loses life again that much, just a good side effect on combat. And we've even got enchantments which play in our tribal/madness theme. Call of Bloodline lets us discard cards to create vampire tokens with lifelink, which are nice to have. The Masquerade has madness itself, which is key, but it makes our creatures have first strike, and whenever a vampire deals damage, it gets a counter, that typical vampire construction. There's even equipment for vampires, like the Blade of the Blood Chief. Whenever creatures put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a counter on the equipped creature. If it was a vampire, put 2. So removal, things done in combat, it does buff up a good creature. And for a bit of fun and flavour, I've even thrown a few curses in here. I like the idea of the Curse of the Fool's Wisdom because it's got madness and it's a curse. It kind of ties my little theme together. So 6 mana or madness of 4. Whenever enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. That can put a clock on a lot of decks. I love the Trespasser's curse here because whenever a creature enters the battlefield and they control, they lose 1 life, we gain 1 life. Punishes token decks pretty good. Or Torment to the Scarab. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they lose 3 life unless they sack a non-land permanent or discard a card, just a bit more pressure. And good old Death Hold's curse. It just negs the entire board constantly. It stops them playing 1/1 creatures altogether. We've even got a few support cards which work really well in this deck. If we're discarding things with madness and then drawing cards and Anje is untapping, we're just sitting there ripping through our library like nothing. Shadow of the Grave gets a bit nutty. At 2 mana, return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. So let's say we've discarded 10 cards with Anje this turn. It's like Croesus Crawler has dealt 10 damage to each opponent. We play this for 2 mana. Let's return all our madness cards back that we can. And let's do it again and hit everyone for another 10. This is a very powerful card. It's very underrated. Archfiend of Ifnir. Every time we cycle a discard, blanket your opponent's creature with neg1 counters. He's like a constant board wipe removal for our opponent. Or Faith of the Devoted. Every time we cycle a discard, we can pay 1. If we do, each opponent loses 2 life and we gain 2 life. That's not much to scoff at. Like 1 mana to put 4 points of difference is pretty good. For a little bit of draw, because we're discarding if we hit things that don't have mana, so I want to have a bit of draw when I can get it. So Reforge the Soul and Wheel of Fate have our kind of discard draw 7 effects. And good old Faithless Looting, Banded Modern, RIP, and Sign in Blood. And of course, a Phyrexian Arena for a nice long steady draw. We've also got our 2 booties, Lightning Grooves and Swiftfoot Boots, because our commander is kind of key to the deck, and without her, it's going to stumble a bit and try it. It's not going to do as well. She is very key to the deck. We're all about her. That's why she's cheap. She comes out early. We need to protect her, so get your booties out. Gamble is the tutor with the downside of you might discard what you tutor for, but in this deck it's not too bad because if we discard a card with madness, we can probably still use it in some way. I would probably tutor first for my boots for protection, or maybe even the Gorger if I'm trying to make all my creatures have madness. Your choice. And I've got Mogus here because I kind of feel like he's more of a curse, really. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, he deals 2 damage to that player unless they sack a creature. And if he does go online, he's a 7/5 indestructible for 4 mana, like he's a good threat. He feels more like a cursed creature nearly. Right, Kill It Dead, removal. Nightmare Making is a new board wipe in the deck. I've kept it in here because I like how it scales up with your hand size. Good old Black Sun, can't go wrong, it always shuffles back into your deck. Torment of Hellfire can be part of a big combo we'll cover later on, but it's just a great card all around. Vanderblast, I hate those pesky artifacts in Commander. Cut the Ribbons, a good bit of burn, but the Ribbons part is part of a combo later on as well if we need to. Dreadball and Bedevil help us hit on more permanent types. When it comes to mana rocks, I've kept it very simple. Good old Soul Ring. I do run our Signet, Locket, and Talisman of Indulgence, so I'll dual color artifacts there. And we've even got Commander Sphere and Mind Stone for a little bit of ramp and draw late game when we need it if we're drawing non-madness cards. As for the lands, we run a ton of the budget fetch lands because this deck is pretty budget. So Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic, and Myriad Landscape get all our basics out. Rocky Tar Pit is a slow fetch land in this deck, but it never hurts. We do run Forgotten Cave, Barren Moor, and Canyon Slough because these have cycling. They're part of a discard theme, so they do support the deck in a little bit. As for 2 color lands, we run Bloodfell Caves and Akoum Refuge. They bring both our colors and a bit of life. Dragon Soul and Sulphur Springs are just our quicker mana when we need it. Temple of Malice brings a bit of Scry, which actually isn't the worst thing in a Madness deck because we can get rid of things we might not be able to activate with our commander. Good old Command Tower for any color we need. And Rick's Maddie and Guy Rich Sanitarium bring more discard enabling themes with us. As for the basics, I've just kept it simple. 10 mounds, 10 swamps. Right down the middle. Alright, there is a Doomsday combo in this deck. I personally don't have it in my list because I'm not a fan of Doomsday combo. I don't really like to try and do some big multi-combo win on the spot, but it is effective and you probably will win with it. Doomsday is 3 mana, so you search the library and graveyard for 5 cards, exile the rest, put those chosen cards as your library in any order you want, and you lose half your life rounded up. So it's a big playoff, but the idea is you're going to get all the key pieces you need to win on the spot. Alright, so there's a couple rules to it and categories of cards you need. So the first one is you need Worldgorger Dragon. any good combos built around it. The idea is, it enters the battlefield, exile all other permanents you control. When it leaves the battlefield, return all the exiled permanents back to the battlefield. That's the whole like red blinking in and out effect. Next, you need an animation spell. Whether it be Animate Dead, Necromance, or Dance of the Dead. In some way or another, these are permanents which can resurrect a creature when they enter the battlefield. And then you're going to need a removal or an out spell. So a lot of them you'll notice have X spells, or they enter the battlefield and do this much damage. So you can use your Torment of Hellfire, you can use the Ribbons Part to Cut, which hopefully you've discarded, the Bloodhole Priest, or even Absence Judgment. So the idea is, we get our Worldgorger Dragon to the graveyard, because our commander can discard it. We animate it with Animate Dead or any of the other permanent reanimation spells. So that enchantment hits the battlefield, you target the Worldgorger, the dragon enters the battlefield, its effect activates, you exile everything including the enchantment, but because the enchantment's fallen off the dragon has to go to the graveyard, so it's left the battlefield. But because it's left the battlefield, all your permanents return back to the battlefield, and all your lands come back untapped, or the ones that do enter untapped. And every time you're doing this, you're netting mana. And then the Animate Dead, of course, is part of the permanent. It comes back to the battlefield, and it targets again the dragon. And you just keep looping this. And every time the dragon goes away, comes back, your lands enter untapped, use them again, get the mana, you're banking it up, making as much mana you need. But you need a way to stop it. So you need another target other than the dragon just to stop the loop at some point. Once you've done that, you've got tons of mana, and pump it into a spell, whether it be Torment of Hellfire here, and you just nuke your opponent dead. Give them no option. And that's the combo. It's very guaranteed to go off, because if the Doomsday resolves, your commander's probably out, you've already got the key pieces established, it only requires so many cards, and you've got a lot of redundancy in the plan, so it's easy to get it going. But yeah, personally, I don't run it in my deck, but it does work. So, what do you think about Anje? I think she's great. She's probably the best Madness themed commander. Madness is kind of a sub-theme in Commander, really, so it's good to see a commander fully built around it that really does support it. The only downside, I guess, is future long-term. Like, Madness is a mechanic that doesn't get covered too often in Magic. Whether we see it again anytime soon, who knows. But she's very unique, very flavorful. I love the design between tribe and mechanics, works well. So let me know your thoughts, guys, and have a good one. Catch ya. Alrighty, it's that time of the video. We can do a bit of a shameless plug. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, please sub and like. It really does help the channel's analytics out a lot. Maybe consider joining me on my other social platforms, where you can talk about anything and everything Magic related. And special thank you to our patrons. They make the channel what it is. These guys are the building blocks for Mana Down Under. They support the channel in many ways. And if you'd be interested in supporting the channel, links are down below and at the end of the video. Thank you, guys.